right, here we go. All right, here we go. It is that time of day, boys and girls. Yes, it is Saturday. Is this the first February in Saturday? Yes, it is. Happy Black History Month to everyone, everywhere. Chicago just keeps getting colder and colder. Not quite sure what that is about, but nevertheless, here we are. Spring is somewhere. Somewhere spring is. We'll figure that out very, very, very soon. Happy Saturday. It's your girl, Miss All Purpose, live on All Purpose Radio, right here on My Radio Chicago. Man, listen, lots happening this weekend, right? The Super Bowl is tomorrow. Who do you have, the Seahawks or the Patriots? I'm just going for the Seahawks. However, full transparency, I am a Cardi B lover, and you know that she's, well, I'll say dating, has a child by Stephon Diggs, so I'm always rooting for Cardi B. So there you have it. Chicago Bears are not in the Super Bowl, but soon and very, very soon. Well, we have a great, amazing show today. We have a woman who I admire so much. Can I say so much with my deep voice? She goes by one. Can I say a name is still a word? Yes? Is that? Yeah. Okay. Right. She goes by one name, and I'm going to give her a great round of applause. Welcome to All Purpose Radio, Pegine.
Whoa, I'm with a Miss All Purpose. Can I tell you, I am ready. You know, Chicago. Let's go. Hey, Misty, I'm so excited to be with you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, we've known each other for a while. So to be on your show in Chicago, although I'm in Florida right now, is very, 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 very cool. I even put a jacket on so I can stay warm because I know that we're going to go into some deep freeze as we talk.
Yes, we are. Now, let me ask you this question. Because we know that Florida has been having unusually low temperatures. Do people wear coats? Do they just act like it's still warm? And
No. We wear major parkas with knit caps and 2 gloves and 2 layers of pants, and it's only 30 degrees out. So just so you know, we are wimps when it comes to the cold. The whole point of us moving here was to have the warmth, and our blood has gotten used to the warmth. So it's been literally, I could tell you that I've been in my house with lots of blankets over me, even though the heat's on. Just the thought that the temperature is below 70 makes me, I just freeze.
You know, Florida is one of my favorite places to travel to. And I'm like, and typically I may go, you know, February-ish, you know, March. And I'm like, wait, I'm leaving the cold to get away from the cold, but I love Florida. So I'm going to do my, I have an intro for Pegine, okay?
Do the intro. I just want to say one thing.
You go right
ahead. We always know when it's tourists coming in at this time of year, because they're the only ones at the beach with their bathing suits on. Like, they are going to be in the beach, even though it's 30 degrees. They're going to wear their bikinis and their bathing suits. We know then they're from Chicago, Minnesota, Canada, because everybody else is all covered up.
It's funny you say that. Why am I feedbacking? It's funny you say that because I spent New Year's Eve in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. And the people that were working at the hotel, because I stayed right across from the beach, and I had like my beach gear on, and this one guy that works at the hotel, he was like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "No, I'm not cold." He's like, and the sun was out. So we all know that the sun helps, right?
Well, sort of.
Well, it helped me. And so I was like, yes, I'm going to the beach because, of course, it's cold in Chicago. So listen, let's get started here. Who is Pegine? I'm going to tell you. Pegine is a Hall of Fame leadership speaker, best-selling author, and CEO known for transforming confidence, communication, and culture from Bronx gang member to global powerhouse. Her stories and strategies captivate audiences and deliver the real world leadership insight. One more time, give it up for
Pegine. I'm with you, Misty. I'm with you, Misty.
So, Pegine, give us a little bit more about yourself.
Wow, a little bit more. I have so much. So here's the basics about me. How did I? We're talking a lot today about kicking butt and about enthusiasm and staying and knowing self-worth. So you do have to know a little bit about where I came from, so how I know what I know to be able to share and talk and be with you. So yeah, I grew up in the Bronx, born, bred, raised. We could strike at the violin. My story is not very different for anybody that's grew up in my neighborhood. Let's put it that way. Parents divorced. Mom was single mom, working 2 or 3 jobs. And my dad used to see us every other weekend. And one weekend he came by and said, "I love you very much." And then we never saw him again. So I started my preteens just being angry, being an angry teen. I was angry. My sister was a local prostitute and she was a junkie. And my mom used to go out at night trying to get her to come back home. And she finally said to her, "Listen, I've got 2 other kids at home. I can't go chasing you. You chose. I can't do this anymore." So there was a lot of turmoil in my house, a lot of things going on. And in my neighborhood, I definitely wasn't going to be like my sister. There was no way, no how, no way. So I, created my survival skills, I'm going to get this. And I used to go to, in our junior high school, I know it's like in Chicago, but because in the Bronx, the junior high schools are huge. We're talking thousands of kids going in, and you would walk up these stairs with gates, so you walk up the stairs and there'd be little platforms and then you take another set of stairs. And if you walked up the stairs back when I was a kid, there were other gang members of different groups, and you knew if they were out for you. Like you just knew. So I would go to the platform and I'd turn around and I go, "Come on, bring it on. Bring it on. You think this is getting me? Now, come on, bring it on." And I bring this on to them. And so everybody would back away. But you can't do that every day. Because if you do that every day, somebody's going to call you out. Yeah. So I would go up again another day and I'd feel them in the back. I mean, I could feel it, right? And I turn around on the platform. I go, "The sun come out tomorrow. Bet you." And they go, "Man, that girl's whacked." That was right. And I developed a nickname called La Loca. Okay. Because I was kind of playing the system of how to survive, basically how to survive. So I was in trouble, went to my first high school, was kicked out of my first high school, was put in a second high school. Around that time, my mom said, "I'm putting you into Girl Scouts." I had been a Girl Scout when I was little, but she wanted me to go to Girl Scouts. So there's like this high school program called Cadets. And she signed me up for it. And she told the Girl Scout council she's a really tough kid. She's a tough cookie. The same day she called Misty. The same day, this woman called in from Wall Street and said, "I want to start a troop for high school girls, but they have to be tough. They already have to come in with a tough attitude. I'm not looking for nicey. I'm looking for tough." Okay. And so Miss B came in, and Miss B, there were 3 of us in the group: Barbara, me, and Denise, all from different girl gangs in the area. Okay. And so we all sat in different areas, and we're all like, like this in the back of the room. And Miss Skeet comes in. She has this blonde hair, and she stands in front of us with the cigarette and says, "Girls, I don't do typical Girl Scouts. I'm not selling cookies. We're not doing arts and crafts. But what we are going to do is, you all think you're tough. You don't know what tough is. So you're going to be with me because I'm going to take you downtown to Wall Street every Wednesday, and we're going to talk to real tough women. Women on Wall Street, they're tough. And so every Wednesday, the only compromise she gave the Girl Scout Council is that we would wear these green hats.
Okay.
Like, they had these Girl Scout hats. Anyway, so we go down and wear with our jean jackets with stuff on it. And we go downtown with her thinking that she was like off the wall, because she would stop women in the street. You stop. How did you get to where you are? And they'd be like holding their bags. And, like, we went to, you have to remember, I had bandana on my head. You know, I did not look like I look now.
Okay.
And, and they were like, well, we went to school and we went this. And she said, you have to be tough. And then the women would break down and go, tough. You better be like a rhino. You better be tough, because nobody's going to listen to a woman unless you make them demand to listen to you. I mean, so this went on for about a year.
Okay.
Changed my life. She changed my life because she transformed in me that someone like me can do something really big in the world. And so when I was 17, I was on the corner, you know, my jacket on, my bandana, smoking my cigarettes with Lefty and Rats. And this idea came into my head. There has got to be something more for me. This cannot be my life. It just can't. Misty, it just can't. And I had this vision image of like this, like a TV screen with me talking on it. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. I just knew in that moment it was time to leave the gang. And here's the thing is, you're a 17-year-old kid. You think that the world is all about you. You really think that the gang is going to find. I was a nobody in the gang, like insignificant, irrelevant. But I thought they'd all be after me. So instead of going to Chicago or to New Jersey or to Florida, I felt like I had to leave the country. So I left the country at 17 and a half by myself. I went to Madrid, Spain. My mom had used some of her connections to find a place for me to stay. I was paying for it. I only had $1,000 on me. And when you start running out of money, you have to learn how to hustle. You have to learn, you have to figure to survive. Now I'm surviving in a country I can't even speak. And it's interesting, Misty, because that country was a dictatorship. And I'll talk about that later on.
Okay.
So I saw things that most people have never seen. But I had been like a paraprofessional. I worked in nursery schools as a part-time person. So I couldn't find jobs. I started looking at nursery schools. Everybody's saying, no. Meanwhile, I'm fumbling in Spanish. I can't speak Spanish to save my life, but I'm trying to get these jobs. And I finally go to this last place. And I went to the woman. I said, I'm looking to start my first bilingual nursery school. Do you know anybody that's looking to fund a nursery school? I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that word came from. Well, obviously now I know, right? The divine.
Yes.
But I didn't know. And she said, yes, a man, Pedro Bautista just came in and he's looking for a nursery school. Pedro and I connected and we opened the first bilingual nursery school in Madrid, Spain, serving Coca-Cola and all the expats. And then we opened 2 more. And then when I was 23, I decided to leave Spain and come back home. I sold it back to him. And I worked my way up ranks from receptionist to national sales manager, director of operations, president of a direct sales company. And then I decided to go back to Bushwick, Brooklyn to work with girls who were in gangs. And then I met Montel Williams. And the rest is, he's the one that got me to speak. He's the one that got me on TV everywhere. He's the one that told me something called a professional speaker, which I had no idea what he was talking about. But that's how I got to be here today.
Amazing. That deserves a round of applause. I love your story because, you know, like you said, you had the divine. Well, first of all, you had a little bit of Think and Grow Rich speak here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was absolutely that moment. I will tell you, and I study Think and Grow Rich. That moment when I was 17 and thought there has got to be something else for me, and the image of me in the future on a screen was what honestly has propelled so much. I didn't know what it meant. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what it would evolve to. I had no idea that I'd be on all-purpose radio with Misty. I had no idea that here's this I am on the box. Had no
Mm-hmm.
idea. I just knew that I had a desire to
Mm-hmm.
do more than where I was.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. That's what made me think of Think and Grow Rich. When you said there's more than being in the gang, right? That was a desire, not necessarily knowing the plan, right? You're going to go to Madrid though. That's step one. You're going to Madrid. Mom hooks you up with the connections, but having this desire. And I know when I was 8, 9 years old, I wanted to take professional gymnastics. Okay.
Mm.
But as far as my parents, it fell on deaf ears. Like I had the desire, right? I'm watching the gymnastics and I had the desire and I had the confidence to want to do the work, to want to learn black backflips and all these other things. But it fell on deaf ears. And so at that time, I was 9 and I just was like, that was the moment I realized you had to advocate for yourself.
Mm.
You had to really advocate. So I was in the 4th grade, 9 years old, and a couple of girls came to class and they had these like I hate to call them tutus, but like kind of like not even two. They were dance outfits, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
With these dance outfits on, and I was like, "What is this? What are you girls doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we take dance at the park." And I was like, "Oh, do you?" So I took it upon myself, whatever time. Well, they actually were performing that day, so I had missed that year. But they told me, so I went up to the park, got the information. They also had gymnastics, they had dance. But and so I guess I would say I signed myself up. Clearly, my mom had to sign something, right? But that was the moment when I understood that you have to advocate for yourself. But I had a desire to do more because at that point, I didn't have any extracurricular activities. Parents were divorced. Mom was working, so I didn't have any extracurricular activities. However, when I saw the girls in these outfits, I could have just saw them and not said anything, but I had a desire. And so I like, and listening to your story, that's what made me think of the Think and Grow Rich principles, is that you had a desire. And that's step one, right? Having a desire.
Oh, it's such it, what having the desire. So having the desire is it is the thing, because the desire creates the momentum with you. The desire, if you focus on it, right? If you really focus on it, creates the energy, because you can say, I want to be a gymnast, but you are imagining yourself doing the twirls and doing that stuff. You were determined that this is who you're going to be no matter what. And for me, I was going to get out of the gang. And I found, I don't know where I found it, somewhere when I was in Spain or on the plane. I don't remember, but I found a Success magazine. Success magazine, I don't know if it's still around, but back then it was like the magazine to read for motivation. And you could read people saying, you can do it. And how do you do it? And I was like, oh, now you have to realize I was kicked out of my first high school. Just managed to get out of my, graduated out of the second high school. I mean, just one day we'll have more stories. You and I laugh too much when we're together. So, but it was the fuel, and that's what desire is. It's the fuel that makes you look for the opportunities that are fueling your desire. Like you can't. I mean, I have a dream book. You have to put in there the things that are fueling your desire, like not meeting anything that somebody else says you should do or tells you should do. I mean, you might be following what your parents inspire you to, or you might be in the neighborhood and people are telling you, you can't do that. You can't do that. Don't try to do that. Don't do that. They're going to have tons of people. It's too hard. It's too hard. Yeah, it's too hard for you. But
Mm-hmm.
my desire, my fire, my fuel is more than enough for me to, I used to say, to push me over, under, through, and around. But but so I used to think that I had push for it. But now I've realized, no, my desire has attracted. It wasn't even like having to go through the rock, around the rock, over the rock, or under the rock. Literally, the rock disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, that when you have the fuel, the desire, the conviction, the joy, right? You just think about it and you get joyous, right?
Yes.
You know, Misty, I'm imagining you twirling and jumping on the couch and standing on the coffee table saying, ta-da, you know,
Yes.
that joy just makes a huge difference
Mm-hmm.
in our emotional state, which leads from our emotional state to attract the stuff that we really want.
Yes, yes. And so because we are a part of the National Speakers Association and the Black National Speakers Association, I'm thinking of a story which I've told many times before, but when I got to 6th grade, they were having cheerleader tryouts. And when I tell you, now I had been dancing, right? Because in 4th grade, so I had been dancing for 2 years in front of people, the whole nine. But see, the thing about it was with the Park District, you didn't have to try out. Right. Everybody was welcome. But the cheerleading team, you had to try out at my elementary school. So I was in 12th grade and they were having cheerleader tryouts. However, I had been going to what was called Motivational Mondays at Christ Universal Temple Church. Every Monday, Les Brown would come in.
And no way.
And this is when I was 12, literally, and it's across the street from my house. Well, let me preface this. My best friend, her grandma had started taking us to church with her. And then from that, she started telling us about this event they would have on Monday. She like, y'all need to go. And so my friend, I think she went one time, her and her brother, but then they fell off. But I literally lived like right across the street. So it was like literally just across the street. So I started going on Mondays to Motivational Mondays, hosted by Les Brown. Every Monday, and these were free seminars. Every Monday, he would bring in somebody different. But before I lose my point, because I want to say this point. One Monday, he brought in Rosa Parks. And this was a Monday that I wasn't going to go. And I was like, I'm not going. And I was like, I had to tell myself, I was like, it's across the street. It's like, it is across the street. So I got the motivation and I went. But as far as the cheerleading team, Les would give us these handouts. You had to, it wasn't anything too, in depth, but it was, what do you want? Probably something like that. So I would do the handouts, which was the quote unquote homework. And I would go on Monday. So then I found the confidence and I started practicing for the tryouts. And then I was fit to toot my own horn. I was going to say I got the tryouts and realized I was a lot better than a lot of the other girls. That's what I was going to say. But my point is, I was speaking of NSA and Les Brown and us being a part of that community. It was just such a blessing because I had the desire to be on the cheerleading team, but I didn't have the confidence because the thought of somebody telling me no, I didn't like that part, right? Of me trying, like not making it, right? But anyway, I made it every year after that. So, having a desire is so important. Let me ask you this question. Now, here in Chicago, we have our fair share of violence and gangs. So let me ask you this: as someone who was in a gang, someone who worked with gangs, what would you say a city could incorporate to help children choose another path?
So this is great question. So just to give you some back information, right? So I ran the Family Dynamics Support Center in New York City. We served 1,000 girls in Bushwick, and 1,000 girls a month. And they were members, Latin Kings, Bloods, the Crips, some other gangs. We were talking some serious players.
Okay.
And I guess, so I had gone back to school for my master's in social work and in community and organizational development. And one of the things that I knew, and it's to this day, know for sure, that people choose what's in front of them because they think it's from in front of them, and the gang community becomes a secondary family,
Mm-hmm.
right? It becomes, it may not be the healthiest family, right? It may not be, but it's a community that receives you, receives you. So one of the things that I found um, really important for us to incorporate in my center and was to build community. So at my center, I did a couple of things. My community was mainly Latino and Black. So I hired a a grandmother, and her job was every day to make a big thing of rice and beans and chicken. That was like, so the place smelled of home, of what a
Okay.
home might look like. And kids could come in, they could have rice and beans and the chicken. They see the abuelita, who was just, a community person. We would start with that. The second thing that um, I learned, right, the gangs had especially the Latin Kings had a contract out for cops to kill
Oh,
a cop. It was,
okay.
back then it was a big thing. And so what I realized is if they only see each other as as a cop or a gang member, it 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 totally blocks who they are as a human.
Mm-hmm.
So I started inviting the cops over for lunch too.
Okay.
And so the cops would come and sit. The kids would get a little bit nervous. I said, "No, sit down and talk. They're human. They're people." And they'd learn, about the cops and the kids and who those are. So suddenly, at least in the 32nd precinct, the cops were removed from the contracts because the mothers of the babies of gang members would say, "Leave him alone."
Mm.
Like he leave him alone. The other thing that we started doing was playing football in the street. If you notice, it, wait, man, stickball, playing in the street, doing things in the street was like a norm. But after the 60s, 70s, that kind of stopped a lot of playing in the street, just playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought footballs, and I would invite the guys to come and play football in the street. And then I had a foundation with the New York Rangers, and I asked them to come once a month to
Mm-hmm.
just toss balls in the street because most of the kids just didn't have dads around. Most of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
or if they did have dads who were great, they were all working so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was a latchkey kid. I know what it's like to go into an empty house. I know what it's like
Mm-hmm.
to just sit in front of TV. I know what it's like to,
Mm-hmm.
be around people who maybe are not the best fit for you, but hey, they're outside because you know what happens, Misty? All the kids that have like a stable household, even if they're in the neighborhood, they're at home. Their parents aren't letting them be outside. Their parents are
Mm-hmm.
watching who they're hanging out with. Their parents are doing that. Kids that get into gangs or trouble, they don't have that.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
for me, my support center was about doing that. So I took at I only had one room that had desks in it for my staff to work on. Every other room was turned into like a kitchen area. So there was no counseling, no speaking around across the desk. It was around the kitchen. There was always coffee so that the kids could learn how to have a conversation around the kitchen table.
Mm.
'Cause that's where important conversations happen,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm. Mm. Yes.
Sure. And then when I would go walk the streets and I go to the corners and who was hanging out with who, I got to know those kids, the kids that were selling drugs, the kids that were in gang. I just, imagine me walking down the street and after a while, they'd be like, they would taunt but I've already been there.
Right.
You can't
Yes. Yeah.
taunt. What are you gonna do? You don't think I've been there. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so when I would get into their face, they would get like, "Oh man, Miss P, it's okay, Miss P, we're all good, we're good." And I'm like, yeah, you're good because you know when things would occur, like if one of my babies was hurt from, let's say, a dad hurt, I had a rule. Oh, you had three choices. I, as the executive director, had to call in any child abuse.
Right.
It was a law. But there was choices that you could have. You had choices. First, you could call in yourself. Number two, I could call you in. You could be sitting next to me. And then you could get on the phone. Or three, I'm just calling you in. Now, the first two shows responsibility and shows that you're interested. So your case is seen in a different light because you're taking responsibility. The third is like, it's not going to happen. And this guy, Eddie, came in because I gave him the choices. He didn't want to do any of that.
Now, so Eddie's the parent or
Eddie's
the child?
Parent. Eddie's the parent. Eddie's the father. Hold on a minute. I'll show you something.
Okay. Let me remind you, you are listening to Miss All Purpose with All Purpose Radio right here on My Radio Chicago. My special guest is Pegine.
So at my desk, I still have it near my desk. I always have a baseball bat.
Okay.
It's just my thing. So I told Eddie, who came in furious, I'm going to beat you up. And some choice words. I'm going to get you. You're going to. And I went, Eddie, let's just be clear about something. I can't touch you first.
Okay.
I can't touch you first. But if you go to touch me, let's just be clear about something. Using some other frank words.
Okay.
You are going to go down. And I may go down with you. But let me tell you, you are going to be hurting. You are going to hurt because I never go down without a fight.
Oh, yes.
And then he goes, oh, Miss P, you know I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding with you. It's okay, Miss P. You know it. So it's just funny, like you learn that, right? You learn I learned how to communicate them. So what I know about community and working, we really need to have real community connections. That's why I love groups that have, like you had the gymnastics in the park. Love. We used to call them parkies. Love, where there were, kids could go to a playground. There was somebody watching over there always that the kids could play basketball and that, but there was somebody watching, right? Yeah. There was somebody there. You didn't have to have anything because the parky had it all. Where a community center really brings community into the experience. When Montel Williams, I was the executive director of this, and Montel Williams heard about me and wanted me to come on his show. And I told Montel when I was on the phone, I said, I'll do that. He goes, we're going to send the limo over to you. I said, that's fine. But you need to send the limo 4 hours before you want me. Okay. And he went, 4 hours? I said, that's right. Because I want that limo there. And every kid in the neighborhood to climb into a limo and the limo driver drive around the block. Because when were my kids ever going to have the experience of being in a limo? And you talk about desire. I wanted them to smell the leather. I wanted them to see what this would look like. I wanted them to take it away from what they saw on TV and social media, people doing it. I want them to have the experience it, because if they have the experience of it, they can't help but start thinking, maybe I'm worth it to go for something. Yes. Right? Yes. And my girls' lives changed. I mean, I can't tell you, we had girls on TV, on a lot of talk shows back then, but how they changed their lives, how they went from gang members to this. And, now one is the publisher of a big medical journal. Another one runs a big company that does legal device. Another one went back to law school. I mean, went to law school. These are girls that were written off. But when somebody can say, first, I believe in you, and two, no, you're not playing small around me. Nobody gets to play small around me. You know that, Misty. Nobody gets to play small around me.
Yes, I do know that. And what I love is that you gave children and teens and even the adults, you gave them something to live for. And you know what I like about that is, I tell people two of the, I hate to use the word worse, but two of the worst personalities to be around is somebody that doesn't have anything to live for and doesn't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
So between those two, but you gave opportunities to people, humans. You saw them as human beings. You gave them opportunities to have something to live for, or to even think about having something to live for. And so, it's people like you who come in people's lives, and, it's one sentence, it's one word, it's one act that changed the trajectory of their life.
That's right. Well, and that's what Mrs. B did to me when she spoke to me. It was when my second high school, I had a Spanish teacher who was also the theater teacher. Oh, she was smart. She said to me in that time, she said, "You think you're so tough?" I said, "Yeah, I do." And I mean, I was, Misty, I was obnoxious. I'm just saying. I was like, that's right. She goes, "So you're in charge of the school play. You have to write it, produce it, and sell tickets for it." And I was like, please, I can do that overnight. Had no idea how hard that was. Right? None. And so I did that. And then she also said to me, "How dare you disregard your culture? How dare you? You've never gone to Spain, where Spanish comes from. You've never been to Puerto Rico, where you work, where your family's from. How dare you disregard the history of your family? And when you're ready, you need to go visit." And that's what led me, I really wanted to go to Spain, and I'm grateful for it, because my life has been transformed from all those experiences, from doing sales for major corporations and running Latin America and being able to speak Spanish and English. I mean, I wouldn't have had that opportunity except for that teacher saying to me to go there, go do something and take charge. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to speak to Avon Latina and speak to them, and then to speak to Avon, all of Avon, about dreams and if it hadn't been for those experiences. And what I am super, super clear about, and I wanted to just touch the base with you on that.
Okay.
When we talk, there are three things that, if we can communicate to ourselves and to others, your life transforms. The first being enthusiasm. You got to be excited about life. You got to be excited about living. You've got to be excited that you woke up this morning. Because if you woke, no matter where you woke up, no matter what circumstance you woke up, the fact that you woke up says you're supposed to do something today. You're alive. You're valuable. You're worthwhile. I say, I'm valuable. I'm capable. I'm worthwhile and lovable. You are that. So be excited. Say, instead of looking for what's wrong, start looking for all that's right. Like, hello, we get to drink water out of a faucet. None of us are going out getting buckets and having to walk 5 miles with it.
Yes. Yes.
If they're listening to you, you've got internet. You know how to type. You know how to use technology. So don't tell me that you're less than. You have more than most in this world, right? And we need to be excited about it. We need to know our self-worth. It just took a long time for me to know that I was worthy. Here you go, everybody. Just because we exist. There's nothing you need to do to be worthy. You are worthy. You're worthy because you exist. And when you get to know that, then you start noticing stuff. I wake up every morning before I get out of bed. I go, look at that. I got fingers. I could scratch my head. This is awesome. I've got feet. Wow. I've got a heart. I could feel my heart beating. I could see that screen. Wow. My self-worth is that nobody's ever going to decide my worth. I get to decide my worth every single day, and I'm freaking amazing and awesome. That's what we had to all be saying to ourselves. I have
Yes.
on my board over here, I'm vivacious, I'm joy, I'm highly favored, I'm prosperous, I'm abundant. I lead, impact, influence, and inspire others. Everything always works out for me magnificently, and hell yes. And I am magnetic, and I have delicious anticipation. I have hope, I have energy, I have vitality and enthusiasm. I'm magic. I am exalted in my own world, and I have mystical powers that I don't even know, but I know that I am tapped in, tuned in, and turned on, and nothing can stop me. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we talk, and then the third thing is about kicking butt, right? It's kicking our own butt. It's kicking our own butt, saying, oh my gosh, I'm working out now with weights, Misty, and I got to tell you something. Obviously, I've avoided for many years.
Okay.
But I had a switch of I'm the one that my body trusts me to take care of myself.
Yes. Yes.
My body is it's done miracles for me. I'm still standing. I'm alive. There are so many reasons why I shouldn't be here. I put myself in many situations in my life that were super dangerous, like ridiculously dangerous, like movie, TV show. Are you insane? Why are we doing this dangerous?
Yes. Yes.
And somehow my body protected me, watched over me. I got over here. The universe watched over me. God, whatever the word that you want to use, I'm here. And so I need to be willing to kick my butt and say, I'm the most magnificent me on this planet, just as you are.
Yes.
If I'm the most magnificent me on this planet, I better live up to that.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I have to live up to. And so I'm going to kick my butt. I'm going to do the things that I need to do. Getting awards and writing books and, being on stage and being with you on this and doing all this. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for all of it, all of it. And I know I'm always, always willing to kick my butt, learn how to do, like I'm doing AI now. You've seen some of my stuff. I've taken a course, I'm not like a little kid. What does this stuff do? And I know now certain things, like I am not going to use AI for my voice because I love my voice.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't want anybody else to take my voice. I don't want some machine taking my voice, but I can have fun with images, and I get fun with creating B-roll, and I could have fun with just showing my art, right? It's like a hobby now.
Yes. Okay.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm having fun, Misty. I'm writing songs.
Okay.
And now where I used to hire a band and a singer, which were great, very expensive, but really great. Now I get to do it on AI. Sorry for your singers and your songwriters and writers, but between having to pay $15,000 for a song and $37 a month.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'll go for my $37 a month, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But that's also a new opportunity. How do we, So anyway, having fun. We've got to kick butt, have fun. Kick butt, have fun.
Okay, so listen, we got a few minutes left here because I got a solid hard stop at 12 because another young lady comes on after me. Answer this question, because you coach women, you speak on leadership, you coach women on leadership. So you had two questions on here. You can decide, or you can answer both of them. Your presence is your power. What are leaders doing every day that quietly kills their presence, and how can they reclaim it? And the second question is, you've coached women at the top of corporations, the military, and government. What fear do successful women rarely admit out loud, and what finally frees them? So just a few minutes.
Okay, so let's go with the second one. What do top level women are the priority thing is that they're not going to be, they're not authentic, that they can't be authentic.
Oh,
so
wow.
They wear a costume over them to fit in, and they're so busy thinking 5 steps ahead about what would they think of me? What would they think of me? So that stops them from speaking up in meetings. It stops them from saying to people, calling out people in meetings. If somebody's taking over their idea, they don't call out and say, "Hey, really? You said that's your idea? How do you plan to implement? Because I figured out it was my idea and I talked to you about it." Right? So they don't get
Yes.
assertive about it. But then, so that's something that's really, really important. They spend a lot of time in their head rather than living their truth.
And how do you live your truth?
So the way you live your truth is, instead of always being here, going more in here, in your heart. And when I say heart, I am so not saying, lovey-dovey. I mean heart that says, I've got courage. I have charisma. I have commitment to myself. I'm a courageous warrior for who I am. I live my life with strength and courage and insight and wisdom, and you're going to hear me. You are going to hear me. I have a motto that I teach them all: be bold, be brave, be seen, be heard, and be paid well. And so sometimes people need the motto to understand, I have power. I'm so valuable. I have power. And of course, it's the fear of, well, what if they let me go? What if they don't? What if they discount me? What if I had to just stand there and look pretty and smile? Well, that was a choice. You don't have to stand there and look pretty and smile. Right? You can stand there and you can have a body language that says, don't mess with me.
Hey. I love that, Pegine. I love that. Let's give Pegine a round of applause. All right, Pegine. First of all, I want to thank you for all that you've done for my speaking career, all the advice you've given me, all the leadership you have given me, and I want to thank you for that. That's number one.
Thank you.
Number two, thank you for coming on All Purpose Radio for the second time. I love it when you come because you're so colorful and boisterous. I love it, and effervescent. So thank you for that on this Saturday morning. So where can people find you? Why do you want them to find you? And all that good stuff, the social media, your books, all of that good stuff.
So you want me to find me in 2 places. First, you just do my name, Pegine. You just do online Pegine. You can go to my website. I have a free book, The 50 Success Secrets of Women. You can also, if you're looking to be a speaker, if you're a woman and really want to speak and work 4 days a week, making $250K a year, then you want to check me out at Power Women Worldwide. Power Women Worldwide. And that's all for women speakers, coaches who want to thrive. I want women to thrive. And by the way, I need women of every color, every back. We got to be owning these stages because our words matter.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Pegine. You know I love you.
I love you too, Misty. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being you. You've always been you. And I can't wait to see you again so we could giggle and laugh and chuckle.
Giggle and laugh and chuckle. Thank you so much for joining me. Everybody give Pegine a round of applause. And Pegine, you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take care, everybody. Mwah.
Thank you. Appreciate you. So Pegine is awesome. I'm going to give her another round of applause. Thank you so much, Pegine, for joining me here today. It is Saturday. I'm going to go take my kids they have this Sonic Cafe. It's a Sonic Cafe, Sonic the Hedgehog, where it's Sonic food, Sonic artwork. I don't know. I'll put it on my Facebook. That's where my kids and I are headed. It is up north. Just type in Sonic Cafe if you have kids and you want to take them there. Don't forget the Super Bowl is tomorrow. I don't know where I'm watching the Super Bowl. If you would like to give me camera's right here. If you would like to give me an invitation to a Super Bowl party, please do. Yeah, I want to do something different. I don't know. So hit me up. Let me remind you, you can purchase my new book, Fearless Advocates. All you have to do is go to fearlessadvocates.com and purchase it if you would like an autographed copy, or you can go on Amazon, get fearlessadvocates.com. Fearless Advocates, excuse me. You can follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, X, all of that. Twitter and X is the same thing. LinkedIn at Miss All Purpose, MSALLPURPOSE. Oh my goodness, another great Saturday. Spring is coming, Chicago. It's coming really, really soon. Thank you to everybody who listens, who joined in, and who will listen and view this at a later date. Thank you guys so much. Super Bowl is tomorrow. Who you got? Seahawks, Patriots. I think I'm going with the Seahawks. I really don't care. I just want to have a good time, but I might stay home and watch it in my bed and have a good time. This has been another edition of All Purpose Radio right here. This has been another edition of All Purpose Radio with your girl, Miss All Purpose, right here on My Radio Chicago. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Do something fun and join me back here next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. All Purpose Radio with Miss All Purpose on My Radio Chicago. Bye.